Amarinder Singh's team says he won't meet Navjot Sidhu without apology. Welcome to Inventiva, I'm Oishi Banik, back with a new story. Chandigarh, Punjab Chief Minister Amarinder Singh will not meet Navjot Singh Sidhu, his bitter rival and the newly appointed chief of the Congress state unit, until he apologizes for his social media attacks. A member of Mr. Singh's team tweeted Tuesday night, "In science, the two leaders' feud is far from over." A tweet from Mr. Singh's media and strategist dismissed reports that Mr. Sidhu had sought time to meet Chief Minister following his elevation as leader of the Congress Punjab unit, and said a meeting could not happen till the ex-cricketer apologized for personally derogatory social media attacks. Reports of @Sherry on top seeking time to meet @cap_Amarinder are totally false. No time has been sought whatsoever. No change in stance. CM won't meet. #Navjot Singh Sidhu till he publicly apologizes for his personally derogatory social media attacks against him, Ravindra wrote. The tweet will come as a disappointment for the party's high command, which must have hoped that weeks of infighting and threats to a re-election bid were settled on Monday, after Mr. Sidhu's promotion and the appointment of working presidents according to Mr. Singh's specifications. The warning signs were there all along though, most notable of which has been the absence so far of an apology from Mr. Sidhu, a key rider to Amarinder Singh burying the hatchet. On Monday, sources said Mr. Singh and his camp viewed the compromise formula and Mr. Sidhu's elevation as a snub, particularly since an apology was absent and key conditions laid down by the Chief Minister has been ignored. These conditions included vetting of new working presidents for Punjab Congress. 4 were announced in line with Mr. Singh's demand to keep the focus on Hindus and Dalits. However, none were signed off by him, despite that being another key condition. The Gandhis had signed off on the compromise formula on Monday, despite a group of Punjab MPs from Mr. Singh's camp expressing reservations over his promotion. The Gandhis signed off on the decision on a day MPs supporting the Chief Minister and requested a meeting with party chief Sonia Gandhi to express their reservations about Mr. Sidhu's appointment. The proposed peace formula was arrived at after extensive meetings held by a 3-member committee appointed by Congress Chief Sonia Gandhi. The committee met Mr. Singh, Mr. Sidhu and MPs and MLAs from both camps. Amarinder Singh and Navjot Sidhu have been locked in a feud since 2017 election. Mr. Sidhu hoped to be made Deputy Chief Minister, but that move was reportedly scuttled by Mr. Singh. Mr. Sidhu, the Congress star campaigner in 2017 polls, instead became a minister in the Amarinder Singh government, but quit 2 years later after his ministry was downgraded. After prolonged silence and detachment from party affairs, he began retargeting Amarinder Singh in recent months, becoming a hard-to-ignore problem in the run-up to Punjab polls. His recent attacks include swipes at the Chief Minister over the power crisis, and on Punjab government's legal setback in 2015 case involving the desecration of the Sikh religious text Guru Granth Sahib and police firing peaceful protests.